match. Welcome to the broadcast comps from Elevate and Greg from Teal Team 6.
Comps, no washing machine?
Nope.
Nope. New place. How's it going, Greg? Welcome to the Gold League for the first time.
Couldn't be happier.
Yeah, now I'm going to start with Greg, just because you are the newest one here. Why don't you go ahead and fill us in on Teal Team 6, your background, how you guys got here, and what the fans should know about your team.
This is only our second season in the league. I mean, we just got sort of started by random. Once last season in silver, we ended up getting to the finals there, and we made the push to gold during the quals. And here we are, second season team.
Yep. Now,
boom.
Yeah, can't disagree with that.
Excitement right there. I would love to jump over to Eclipse for a moment, or Elevate. Oh, God. Elevate.
I know it's been a long offseason,
It's been a long offseason, Comps. Give me a break here. Comps, you guys have picked up Striker, new player. What's the deal with him? I've heard a little bit of what James has told me, but I want to hear it straight from you. What are your expectations for your new player?
Well, he comes from the console side, so he was one of the best players on Xbox, so we figured that we'd use some of that experience over on the PC side. Like James said, it was like he's a fresh block of clay, so we're able to mold them into exactly what we want. So that's good for us.
Yep. Now you're going up versus Teal Team 6, a team that you really can't scout out. You don't know what they've done on other maps. You don't have that sort of same access that you do to some of these other previous Gold League teams. Does that kind of throw your guys' game off, or are you guys just going to go business as usual?
I mean, we're ready for everything. We've been practicing a lot leading up to this season, so whatever they throw at us, we should have an answer for it. So business as usual. Yep.
All right, and then Greg, lastly to you, I mean, not to intimidate you, but you're playing arguably the third best team in the world right now, one of the teams that's won the most in North America through the history of World of Tanks here. Have you guys done anything special this season, or are you guys just, for today anyways, are you guys ready to go?
Right now we're ready. I mean, we've been elevating our performance. We're finally at the apex of our team. Our comps are great, and we're just hoping not to have a rude awakening during the season.
Wow. Okay, that's one way to finish off. Comps, I mean, is there anything to follow that with?
Good luck and have fun.
All right, thought so. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the Face-Off. We'll see you on the battlefield.
That's one way to introduce yourself to the Gold League.
Yeah.
Gotta love some memes.
Oh, man. Greg he's sure to bring up some good stuff. He is
definitely.
He is infamous for his...
May not always be great World of Tanks play, but at least we've got the memes.
Yes, always has plenty of memes. So... After getting out of that, I did not know that Striker was an Xbox player. No one had told me that part.
No, I had not heard that, actually, which does make a lot of sense because if you look at his profile statistically, very, very strong player. So, it's just no one's ever seen him around before. He hasn't played in the Gold League before. So he definitely has a lack of experience in terms of the overall competitive play, playing in a LAN setting, all those sort of things. But I think he can make the adjustment just based upon his skill alone.
Yeah. And actually, I want to take a quick tangent because we're going to have just a minute before we get into battle and talk a little bit about the new format. We have just changed into the 770 format, meaning there's no longer a reason to pick anything but a tier 10. You can still pick something that's not a tier 10, but with 7 players and 70 points, every player can bring a tier 10. In previous seasons, our regular viewers will be familiar with the fact that there was some choice in that matter. You could choose 2 tier 9s, or you could choose a single tier 8 to bring in your team.
Yep, and you have to remember, we have tier 10 light tanks now. That's something we didn't see a whole lot last season. We saw it during the grand finals very briefly. The new Arty mechanics will also be in there. And then the new Foch B, which was added just last week. That's another tank that I think we'll definitely be seeing at some point tonight.
Yes, absolutely. The Foch B is something that I know that you've gotten a lot more experience with. I really am not a good TD player. Whenever I get into a TD, my habit is, of course, forward is the best direction. But with the Foch, you can't quite be a front line, just damage dealer all day, can you?
No, but its strong point is it has a 6-round clip. So it's the gun off the AMX-50B, but with 6 shells instead of 4. And so if you do the math, that's 2,400 alpha in a single clip over 10 seconds. So if you can track someone out in the open or just find them in an open field where they can't run to cover, you can pretty much delete them within that 10-second gap, which is mind-boggling to think about.
Yeah, and as a tank in the mix with another medium or heavy, that's where it's going to shine.
Yeah.
On its own, I don't think it's going to really be able to do enough because you're going to waste a whole clip on a mouse and get that one bounce or two or shot into the track that's going to ruin the kill, right? But if you have that medium or heavy tank with you, the single fire, consistent fire guy who can help out, that's where I think the Foch is going to find its strength. Would you agree? Or
yeah, I would agree. The old Foch was famous before it was nerfed for being a tank that you would just throw behind a bunch of mediums in a wolf pack, and so you'd have the mediums go in there and brawl, and then you'd have 3 or 4 Foch 155s come up and just destroy things, just because they were so fast. They could keep up with the mediums. Now this isn't as fast as the old 155, but it does make up for it with just the raw clip potential. So I definitely agree that we'll see it in a mix with other tanks is where it'll definitely be strongest. The other thing to note, it doesn't have heat shells, so it may struggle a little bit. Low pen versus, say the mouse.
So at range is the real problem, because the thing
versus heavily armored targets.
Of course. Although it won't have to worry as much about spaced armor, right? Because your gold shells are just APCR, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the trade-off is there. But you just have to understand, of course, how to use it properly, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now, it sounds like we're having a few delays, actually, so we're going to go ahead and take a short break. We figure out everything. When we come back, we'll get right into the action.
Welcome to the broadcast comps from Elevate and Greg from Teal Team 6.
Comps? No washing machine?
Nope.
Nope. New place. How's it going, Greg? Welcome to the Gold League for the first time.
Couldn't be happier.
Yeah, now I'm going to start with Greg, just because you are the newest one here. Why don't you go ahead and fill us in on Teal Team 6, your background, how you guys got here, and what the fans should know about your team.
This is only our second season in the league. I mean, we just got sort of started by random. Once last season in silver, we ended up getting to the finals there, and we made the push to gold during the quals. And here we are, second season team.
Yep. Now,
boom.
Yeah, can't disagree with that.
Excitement right there. I would love to jump over to Eclipse for a moment, or Elevate. Oh God, Elevate.
I know it's been a long off-season.
It's been a long off-season, Comps. Give me a break here. Comps, you guys have picked up Striker, new player. What's the deal with him? I've heard a little bit of what James has told me, but I want to hear it straight from you. What are your expectations for your new player?
Well, he comes from the console side, so he was one of the best players on Xbox. So we figured that we'd use some of that experience over on the PC side. Like James said, it was like he's a fresh block of clay, so we're able to mold them into exactly what we want. So that's good for us.
Yep. Now you're going up versus Teal Team 6, a team that you really can't scout out. You don't know what they've done on other maps. You don't have that sort of same access that you do to some of these other previous Gold League teams. Does that kind of throw your guys' game off, or are you guys just going to go business as usual?
I mean, we're ready for everything. We've been practicing a lot leading up to this season, so whatever they throw at us, we should have an answer for it.
Welcome to the broadcast comps from Elevate and Greg from Teal Team 6.
Comps? No washing machine?
Nope.
Nope. New place. How's it going, Greg? Welcome to the Gold League for the first time.
Couldn't be happier.
Yeah, now I'm going to start with Greg, just because you are the newest one here. Why don't you go ahead and fill us in on Teal Team 6, your background, how you guys got here, and what the fans should know about your team.
This is only our second season in the league. I mean, we just got sort of started by random. Once last season in silver, we ended up getting to the finals there, and we made the push to gold during the quals. And here we are, second season team.
Yep. Now,
boom.
Yeah, can't disagree with that.
Excitement right there. I would love to jump over to Eclipse for a moment, or Elevate. Oh God, Elevate.
I know it's been a long off-season.
It's been a long off-season, Comps. Give me a break here. Comps, you guys have picked up Striker, new player. What's the deal with him? I've heard a little bit of what James has told me, but I want to hear it straight from you. What are your expectations for your new player?
Well, he comes from the console side, so he was one of the best players on Xbox. So we figured that we'd use some of that experience over on the PC side. Like James said, it was like he's a fresh block of clay, so we're able to mold them into exactly what we want. So that's good for us.
Yep. Now you're going up versus Teal Team 6, a team that you really can't scout out. You don't know what they've done on other maps. You don't have that sort of same access that you do to some of these other previous Gold League teams. Does that kind of throw your guys' game off, or are you guys just going to go business as usual?
I mean, we're ready for everything. We've been practicing a lot.
Welcome to the broadcast comps from Elevate and Greg from Teal Team 6.
Comps? No washing machine?
Nope.
Nope. New place. How's it going, Greg? Welcome to the Gold League for the first time.
Couldn't be happier.
Yeah. Now I'm going to start with Greg, just because you are the newest one here. Why don't you go ahead and fill us in on Teal Team 6, your background, how you guys got here, and what the fans should know about your team.
This is only our second season in the league. I mean, we just got sort of started by random. Once last season in silver, we ended up getting to the finals there, and we made the push to gold during the quals. And here we are, second season team.
Yep. Now,
Boom.
Yeah, can't disagree with that.
Excitement right there. I would love to jump over to Eclipse for a moment, or Elevate. Oh God, Elevate.
I know it's been a long offseason.
It's been a long offseason, Comps. Give me a break here. Comps, you guys have picked up Striker, new player. What's the deal with him? I've heard a little bit of what James has told me, but I want to hear it straight from you. What are your expectations for your new player?
Well, he comes from the console side, so he was one of the best players on Xbox. So we figured that we'd use some of that experience over on the PC side. Like James said, it was like he's a fresh block of clay, so we're able to mold them into exactly what we want. So that's good for us.
Yep. Now you're going up versus Teal Team 6, a team that you really can't scout out. You don't know what they've done on other maps. You don't have that sort of same access that you do to some of these other previous Gold League teams. Does that kind of throw your guys' game off, or are you guys just going to go business as usual?
I mean, we're ready for everything. We've been practicing a lot leading up to this season, so whatever they throw at us, we should have an answer for it. So business as usual. Yep.
All right, and then Greg, lastly to you, I mean, not to intimidate you, but you're playing arguably the third best team in the world right now, one of the teams that's won the most in North America through the history of World of Tanks here. Have you guys done anything special this season, or are you guys just, for today anyways, are you guys ready to go?
Right now we're ready. I mean, we've been elevating our performance. We're finally at the apex of our team. Our comps are great, and we're just hoping not to have a rude awakening during the season.
Wow. Okay, that's one way to finish off. Comps, I mean, is there anything to follow that with?
Good luck and have fun.
All right, thought so. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the Face-Off. We'll see you on the battlefield.
That's one way to introduce yourself to the Gold League.
Yeah.
Gotta love some memes.
Oh, man, Greg he's sure to bring up some good stuff. He is
definitely.
He is infamous for his...
May not always be great World of Tanks play, but at least we've got the memes.
Yes, always has plenty of memes. So... After getting out of that, I did not know that Striker was an Xbox player. No one had told me that part.
No, I had not heard that, actually, which does make a lot of sense because if you look...
That's going to mean the mouse is not quite as strong. And I'm wondering if that'll mean large changes in lineups, or if that will mean a lot more conservative mouse play.
I think the changes to the mouse will make it so it kind of fits a little bit more into the role that it's intended for. Before, it kind of became the end-all, be-all of heavy tanks. It was the tank that everyone would just drive at you to just beat your face in, essentially.
Yeah.
And now with the changes, losing the 200 HP, a little bit DPM buff, it still has all its armor. So what it'll be used for instead is a stall force, the anvil and a hammer and anvil type strat, essentially.
It's going to be used to pin the opponent. Probably, let's think the banana is a common spot on Himmelsdorf to kind of hold your opponent up. But, of course, we could be seeing an attack from any of 4 different directions.
Yep, and then also on maps like Himmelsdorf, like we're seeing right now, you have to remember the mouse is a very, very, very large tank, and you can very easily hide a tank behind it, as we have the map picks, or not map picks, but the team picks coming in here. And not anything too surprising. The 2 5As, we actually didn't even talk about that new Chinese heavy tank. 2 mouses, 250Bs, and an IS-7. An IS-7 also received a slight buff during the last patch. Meanwhile, Teal Team 6, a 113, a 50B, an IS-4, which is, that one's a little bit eye-opening. 2 mouses and 2 E3s. And one other thing I want to talk about before we start this game, I got to talk about how much I love Teal Team 6's name. A little bit of a shout out there to all the teals everywhere. For those that know what I'm talking about, you get it.
Because you yourself are teal.
Not anymore.
Not anymore?
Everyone was at one point, though. Just remember that.
Yeah.
Every single person that played this game was a teal at some point.
This is true.
So, gotta love them, and we are just a few seconds away from being into battle. It will be Elevate on the offense. Teal Team 6 continuing to show us what they're made of right now.
All right. And you'll have to excuse us, beginning of the season. Yes, the camos are wrong. Nothing we can do to avoid that right now, so I'm just going to call it out, right? We'll fix that for next battle. So, first things first, let's focus on the major movements of the attacking team. Following Canadian Impact, that 50B, with his battle buddy right behind him, that's Vetro. Looks like they're going to be heading straight up the mid, and that's going to be external to come meet them in an IS-7 around the middle of the map. At the same time, that Teal Team 6 blue team is going to be heading right down the west side. That's an aggressive move with the 113-50 beat combo.
Yeah, and they're getting kind of strung out right now, so they need to be careful not to overextend because they have an IS-4 and an E3 sitting up in base at A5, so they don't want to push too far down there or they could create a separation.
I'll point out that the IS-4 from Teal Team 6 in Alpha 5 up north is spotted and is taking a little bit of fire from our 50Bs. It doesn't quite look like they're going to be able to get a real connection. No, 221 from the IS-7 in HE. That's a little sting.
The IS-4 is a very interesting tank in regards to being a very situational tank. In certain situations, it is one of the strongest heavy tanks in the game. It can side scrape exceptionally well. It can hold down exceptionally well. But in other regards, it's considered the worst of the heavy tanks in the game. It's very slow. It only has a 400 alpha gun, which is relatively lackluster compared to the other tier 10 heavies. So like the new 5A has a 490 alpha gun, and the penetration's mediocre. So, you know, all in all, when you can bring a tank like this 5A here from Brett, definitely something to keep an eye on.
So yeah, let me kind of probe a few like play questions for that one then. So why the 5A over the IS-4 then?
5A is going to be a lot quicker. It's going to have higher DPM. The 490 alpha is also going to be nice, especially if you're trying to focus fire, take a tank out, less guns, do more damage.
Okay.
And it looks like we're going to see Dodoma in the mouse starting to push up the 8 line right now.
He is spotted. I'll note that one right now, looking at the perspective of our Teal Team 6 team. Dodoma is going to be heading up what we call the banana, where this is going to be Elevate's little poke at trying to make some kind of headway, get some control. Time's a factor, right? You want to have enough control about 5 minutes in that there's somewhere to go, that there's a real resolution to this battle. Because if you wait too long, I'll point out another change. Now that we're in 770, that means more hit points per team overall. It means it's going to take you slightly longer, possibly, to deal all the damage that you used to be able to deal in a little bit less time.
Yep, so no longer the tier 8 light tanks at the very least. You know, we'll see tier 10 light tanks, and if not, we'll just see tier 10, you know, mediums and heavies, which have a significantly higher amount of HP overall. And
it looks like the shift coming out of Teal Team 6 as a response to the aggression they've already found is to pull back a little bit into the northwest. This isn't a full retreat, and it doesn't look like an overreaction yet, but I do feel like Elevate's gonna figure out the weak point here, and they'll just flood into the north. What do you say, Rox? Do you think this is gonna turn out many other ways?
No, I think this is a bait strat, essentially, that Teal Team 6 might be falling for. Dodoma showing up by that 2 cap with no one else really there to support. Remember how I was talking about Hammer and Anvil? Well, Dodoma is that anvil, and they're trying, Elevate that is, are trying to convince Teal Team 6 that they need to rotate more of their tanks over there. So they need to, once they move tanks out of that 2 line, it'll be open for the rest of Elevate here to swing in and come underneath, which is going to leave Teal Team 6 with one of 2 options: to push into that mouse, which has the 150B covering them, or to try to take the rest of Elevate head on, neither of which are particularly great situations to be in.
Yeah, I can see that. Now look at where Viral is right now. That IS-4 defending on Teal Team 6 side, he is now looking, or at least poking over towards Dodoma's position. And he was able to spot Dodoma for a moment, but it looks like he's not able to anymore, which is probably going to be pretty concerning. Oh, looks like that was an HE shell fired by our IS-4. Very difficult to spot there, but HE to try and maybe splash the mouse.
Yeah, but also remember what I was talking about. The IS-4, it has a relatively lackluster gun for a tier 10 heavy, and that HE shell will not do a whole lot of splash damage. It'll do a little, but not as much as, say, an E100 or a Type 5. Now, this position that Viral is in,
he's moving out of it now.
Very strong position. If he stays there, now this is where he's going to get caught out. Look at all the damage going on to Viral. He's getting caught out right now. He's down to almost 2 shots.
1 shot left. He fires. It does not remove the cap. And now with 4 seconds left on reload, he's going to find some cover. But this is not good for Viral. He's taking way too much damage. I see a little in the background. 50B taking 1 shell, and you're going to see a response start to kind of happen for Teal Team 6, although I wish it were happening sooner or faster. I don't know how long Viral's going to last, and once he goes down, that's the last chance for a cap reset. 2 seconds left. If he resets here, that's it. That's
HE. He doesn't get it. The HE doesn't do damage. That's what I was talking about. That is going to be a cap out for Elevate. They are going to start off the series 1-0 over Teal Team 6.
Okay, that's one way to do it.
And everyone that does not have Dodoma on their fantasy team is crying right now because they all got exactly, I don't know, 5 points out of that. Dodoma at least got the cap points, which now, once again, I mentioned that Unknown One changed the formula for the fantasy league. So capping, I believe, counts for a little bit less, but still more points than anyone else got that game.
Yeah, because no kills. There were... Okay, let's cut to the chase. That shouldn't have happened. If you're Teal Team 6, you shouldn't let that happen. Viral tried to get HE. Where he was firing was into tracks, but it's a mouse.
Yep.
And the problem when you're firing HE at a mouse is you need to hit those cheeks, don't you?
Well, the biggest problem there with the with that IS-4 was he hit the side skirt of the mouse. So instead of hitting the track, he hit the spaced armor on the side. You have to at least partially damage the tracks to get the reset. Instead, it just bounced off the side, and being low caliber, it didn't have the same splash radius that a bigger gun would have had, and so it didn't get the reset.
Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking the cheeks would have been more successful.
Yeah, well, you would have had to hit the gun, would have been the bare minimum thing. The cheeks, not necessarily with the HE, you wouldn't have penned, but if you hit the gun, there's at least a little bit of a chance at damaging the gun and getting the reset that way.
Oh, I was thinking splashing off the cheeks and at the top armor of the
engine deck. It is an option for the bigger guns, but I don't know, once again, that the IS-4 has the power to do it with the smaller 122 that it has.
You're right. That's something where you're not going to get super consistent performance. Now, looking at the post-battle stats, you can see that's not a lot of damage being dealt. Wall hacks, look, you're getting double-digit fantasy points here. It's not a lot so far. So it's not exactly the most exciting start to a match, but a win is a win. And Elevate's going to take that and feel quite secure with a win like that. And Teal Team 6 is going to sit there and probably shake their heads a little bit and go, oh my gosh, I cannot believe we let that happen.
Yep. Now, another thing to keep an eye on, wall hacks. Elevate's caller, one of the best callers in the league right now. Because of the rule changes up to 770, that means he has to play a tier 10 every single game, so a little bit more responsibility on him. Now, the one thing I will put to his credit is he's such a good caller that most of the time his gun even shouldn't matter then, but it's still going to be a little bit extra pressure for him to step up and handle. He should be up for the task. I don't think it will be a problem, but just something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, just something to watch out for. So let's take a look at the lineup as we're getting ready for battle number 2. It looks like we're going to see 113s coming back, a few of those 5As again, and this time Bat Chat.
Yep, as well as a Type 5. That should be interesting. Big old HE gun. They are the ones defending now. Meanwhile, Teal Team 6 coming in here with 2 113s, 2 50Bs, 2 WZ5As, and a Bat Chat. Once again, Supernova playing the Bat Chat. That's the tank that we will see him in 90% of the time.
Yeah, Bat Chat's always a fun tank for me. I love following those guys around. And where are we going if we're going to go follow him? Now, let's follow our blue team first. We want to watch, of course, where they're going. The defensive positions out of Elevate look to be fairly typical West Side story. On Teal Team 6 side, you're going to see that Bat Chat, Supernova, moving out to the west. We'll have to watch and see if First Contact is actually going to end up being our Bat Chats fighting against each other.
That would be pretty entertaining to watch. I don't know if either of them would be loaded. No, they should both be loaded at this point, so they have shots. And Supernova is going to come down here on the bottom corner. Canadian Impact are going to look for him opposite. And Nova's going to get out of there without actually spotting anyone. He's going to keep running, and Impact's just going to hold.
Actually, Anime Lord Brett got picked up, I believe, for a moment there. So he'll get spotted for a second. Supernova actually getting, we could call this greedy. We could call it hungry. He's going to back up and look for a target. Oh, he does find Canadian Impact. Canadian firing into a train.
Hitting that oil car there. Shell not going through.
And this is a tricky part to play in on this map. The tracks and the trains atop them are at such a height that higher level tanks actually have difficulty firing under them.
Where tanks like IS-7s, for example, lower profile tanks actually have an easier time getting through, as opposed to something like a Mouse or 215B.
A Mouse will struggle significantly, especially when you're right up close to those tracks. They'll get in your way and they'll cause all sorts of trouble. So something to watch out for. The way you play those is it has to be well calculated. But I'm going to change that around. Look at where Supernova and Love Hitman are going now. Oh, but first on another part of the map, External has found one of our old classic positions where in the 113, he is going to be peeking down.
The G line there where he's going to have some shots, and that's something we were just talking about tank profiles. And how high or low tanks are. The 113 just high enough to see through that gap. That's a tank that a Mouse would actually be excellent in. However, if you look at his shot right here, look at that. Just the tiniest of shots, but it's enough to get vision down that G line, maybe get a spot there and or get a shot of damage.
Yeah, it's very difficult to return fire, very easy to put a shell out in just the right spot. Also consider that spotting is working out for you, so you're able to find targets and see them without the risk of peeking out and taking a lot of damage.
Yep, it is a very low-risk situation unless they hard commit down that 2-3 line, but when you have a 5A and a bat shot in the south. And see, here comes one of the lights talking about right now. He's going to find the shot, and there he gets it. 447.
One shell left, and he's going down. He's at 361 hit points.
Yeah, Mountain Goat needs to be careful here. He's left in a really tough situation. He's trying to get intel into the north, but with External holding this angle here, there's not a whole lot of options for him.
Yeah, but look at the positions right now from Teal Team 6, and look at the way they are up on top of the hill. Zombie Food, Supernova, Love Hitman, and Bloop. 4 tanks are up top. Now, I'm curious as to what Zombie Food's going off to do. Zombie is kind of peeking over one of the edges, and that worries me slightly, because that might spoil the element of surprise, but it doesn't look like he's going to get spotted. And with that, it looks like there's going to be a major push coming out of the northeast, where, looking at the mini-map, this is what you have to pay attention to. Look at that bat chat, the WZ 5A, and the 113, all way on the southwest. They're not going to be able to react very quickly to this attack. And so, if this has enough violence of aggression, then we're going to see a strong engagement from Teal Team 6. If they slow down, I'm expecting Elevate should be able to recover and make...
Oh, remember what I said about Hammer and Anvil strat. This is exactly that. They have to push into this Anvil right now and try to take them out. This is 2 very high HP guns. I doubt they'll be able to make too much progress. As I say that, Wallhack's taking a lot of damage.
Yep, Supernova jumping right on that mouse, just unloads, staying out of the way. Nicely played, and look at that. 50B and 5A come in to finish the job. This is some solid teamwork we're seeing out of Teal Team 6. At the same time, small skirmish in the south, Mountain Goat's going down, and that's going to be the flank open for Teal Team 6 as they push forward and try to pressure the northern cap of Elevate.
Yep, and now they know that both these 50Bs have emptied all their shots, and it looks like Elevate's going to try to push back in here. Dodoma's going to creep forward. Ox in that Type 5 is going to come in here with that HE derp gun loaded. He's going to fire a shot, not get a connection. Vetro and that looks like External in that 113, both coming up here as well.
But look at Bloop, he's incredibly low, and right now the positions from Teal Team 6 are split. They're going to be able to put fire onto Bloop. At the same time, Canadian is taking on Supernova. Supernova does not have the hit points to survive the engagement. He will go down. Canadian Impact is just tearing apart the rear positions of Teal Team 6. Zombie Food comes in to back up, and yes, he should be able to take down Canadian.
Yep, and Elevate just capitalizing on the one-on-ones, winning their fights. They're just ignoring the WZ5A up in that pocket. They're just pushing forward. They do find the kill onto Viral, and Emu should be next.
There we go. This looks like it's going to go in favor of Elevate unless something crazy happens. But Elevate had a strong response. Bring around the southern flank. Teal Team 6 had an aggressive push, but right now they're split. They're not together at all. They're unable to really support each other, and that's what you have to appreciate about it, the way Elevate handled this situation.
Yep. Now I do like the play out of Bloop there to put his tank in a position where Hitman can stay alive from it. However, the problem is he can't really get out of here without pushing that tank around, and 2, he's pretty much isolated himself out of the fight. He's been able to get a few shots of damage off, but Elevate just ignored him largely and just cleaned up the rest of the team while he was stuck here in this pocket. Great decision making there out of Wallhacks and Elevate.
All right, that's going to do it. I feel like we can just put that point on the board already for him. Elevate's going to dominate Himmelsdorf in their regular fashion.
Yeah, well, welcome to the Gold League Teal Team 6. That's Elevate on Himmelsdorf for you.
Oh, yeah. Always love seeing them. I was a little worried about that southwest position that we saw from Elevate. They seemed a little spread out.
Yep, no, they were a little bit spread out, but once again, talking about the Hammer and Anvil type strats, that's exactly what that was set up to do. Now, Wallhacks did get deleted, and I do like the focus fire there out of Teal Team 6. Very good team play, good focus of fire, took him down quickly. But the problem was Dodoma was a little bit further back behind him, and the rest of the guns were able to rotate very quickly. So while they got through one mouse, which took them probably 20 seconds to kill.
And a lot of ammo.
And a lot of ammo, and their autoloaders had to reload. That was enough time for Elevate to do exactly what they wanted, which was regroup and repush together. And you saw a few of the tanks for Teal Team 6 try to go down to the south, get separated from the rest of their team, who ended up getting isolated and picked off. And Elevate was able to just group up their heavy tanks in the north, push in, clear the cap, and from that point it was pretty much over.
Yeah, but I have to appreciate Teal Team 6 is showing us that they may really be a team that belongs in the Gold League. They're showing the signs that they have the right strategic mindset They're going for the right kind of moves. Their execution needs a little bit of work. Of course, a lot of this is also kind of magnified, you could say,
Yeah, now,
by the fact that they're facing Elevate.
You cannot write Team 6 off just after this game. This is versus the number one seeded team in North America.
Absolutely.
So we always knew it was going to be a tall task. I questioned whether or not they'd get a round. They felt they'd get many. However, a little bit of a reality check. Welcome to the Gold League, boys.
Yeah. If the top team in the Gold League has usually been of a quality that they're really going to stomp on everyone else.
Yep,
it just seems like that little edge is enough to send you over that. And look at this.
The left hitman, remember when I said, I'd like to play out of loop, he turned his tank sideways, he knew it was going to die. 50B is not going to bounce a shot at that range, so he gave left hitman cover. And while they ignored him, he only pumped out 4,300 damage, which arguably he should have gotten more considering it was in pretty much a farm position. So still did a good job there. And then Vetro just...
Who's surprised?
Getting the resets. Yeah, exactly. Vetro sat on the bench last season. A lot of people have kind of forgotten about him to a certain extent. And now he's back in here picking up the slack and doing a great job. Wallhacks down there in the mouse, who got evaporated pretty early on. No surprise there. When you have 6 guns in your face, instantly, not a whole lot you're going to do, even in a mouse.
Yeah, and then Goat was in that position on the south side of the map.
That 113, yeah, he got isolated. That was definitely difficult for him. But I think that about wraps Himmelsdorf up. And now we're on to Sand River.
This will be the first time all season.
First time all season. And now this is arguably...
We're 2 battles in.
Arguably, this is a decent pick for Team 6.
Why?
Clean slate. No one's seen it. No one has any real established meta on it. So if they've done their homework and they have something maybe crazy to throw at Elevate, maybe they can pull some rounds off. We'll have to see.
Well, with a lineup with 3 WZ5As, 2 Bat Chats, and 2 Object 140s for Elevate, and on the other side a 5A, 4 Bat Chats, a Patton, and a T100 LT. This is my world. Okay, welcome back. All right, it's been a while. It's been heavy meta. I'm glad we got mediums now. So, Rox, you can just go, chill out for a bit. I got this.
This is one tank we actually haven't talked about, is the Patton. Received some buffs in the last patch, now has a much stronger turret. Doesn't have the giant Empire State hatch, as we like to call it on the American tanks.
Which I'm happy for, because honestly, that was the whole reason I disliked playing the tank. I did not like how soft it was, and just how easy it was to tear apart. It didn't matter my positioning. It didn't matter that I outplayed my opponent. He just looks at my turret, and he shoots me. And now I at least have a chance. So I like the new Patton. I think it's good. It's going to be a great support tank. But we're going to have to see if it gets in the right position. Now follow Wallhacks. Wallhacks here is on an opening scout run. Classic. Just the scout run that you always do. He's going to spot a number of tanks, the Patton and the T100 LT. And because of that, even zombie food in the back. That's perfect. And look at this. A little engagement, actually, is going to come out. And we're going to see Viral take some damage. This is good. This is what you want to do. If you're Elevate and you know you're going to have a scout that's going to be so annoying scouting for the rest of the team supporting him, you might take the risk and actually send a tank out to
kill him.
Just to kill him. I don't care if it's a trade.
I don't care if you die. I just don't want his light tank there.
Yeah, because the right light tank on Sand River is going to destroy you.
Sometimes it's worth trading the tank and the HP to make sure the other team lacks the vision.
Precisely. Just poke their eyes out, as it were. And look at this. I like the position I've just jumped to on Canadian Impact. He's going to be waiting all the way up in A7. In pub battles, you never get here. Not early in the battle. And so because Team 6 has given this up, this is an amazing position for Canadian to peek out, as he's doing right now, to start supporting. And there, shots on to Greg. This is great for him. This is exactly what you want. This could not be going better for Elevate. And with the amount of damage now dealt, with about 2,000 hit points difference, and look at that, Viral's down. Perfect, that's the scout out. And now with that, Greg starts taking damage as well. He's down to 50 hit points, wherever he is.
Now, fundamentally, I do like a little bit of what I've seen here out of Team 6, but Greg...
He's dead. There we go.
Getting traded out, not perfect. Now, the thing about Sand River is you have to establish map control, which means you have to have tanks everywhere, and you have to open up every angle possible, or it's going to favor the defender. So trying to stretch down south, the right idea, but moving those 5As in where they got isolated, I don't think they were ready for the 5A sitting down there on the G line from Elevate, who was able to get consistent shots off.
And let's keep following Dodoma for a minute, because look at this. This is exactly what you're talking about. You need to be aggressive. You have to be willing to take the first hits in order to gain control of Sand River, because you're right, it's all about that control. And Elevate has that control now. They've got the entire north. The south is very much easier to defend. So the entire southwest portion of the map, as a defender, you don't need to care about that much because you have positions that work. And the way we see Elevate aggressing right now, if they just keep this going, Teal Team 6 isn't going to have time to come up with a response. You need at least a minute or two to reconnoiter so that you can actually address what Elevate's doing.
This is brutal coming out of Elevate. They are suffocating Teal Team 6. They know they're up 2 guns, and so they're just leaving their defensive posture. They're pushing up. They're taking map control. They're making it so they can't even leave their base right now.
Yep.
This is clinical Elevate. This is them realizing they have the advantage. They understand that they're up, and they are leaving Teal Team 6 with literally no options.
Yeah, if you asked me to look at just the mini-map right now and judge who was going to win or who was going to lose based on what I'm reading right here, right now, I would be telling you Elevate. They should absolutely win. 2 tanks up, and on top of that, positions on the map are superior. Teal Team 6 might play for time. They might play for just trying to figure out what to do on the other side of the map. But attacking on Sand River is hard. That's the tricky part. And you're seeing that shift happen right now into the south. This is just for the kills, guys. Like, the reason Brett, Wallhacks, and Vetro are down there is because they've got Teal Team 6 on the run. Teal Team 6 has to figure out a way of baiting this or something.
Now, Doma might actually go down here as he's moving in. Canadian Impact trying to simp for him right now. They're sitting up there in the north. Doma does go down. Canadian Impact is safe, though. However, that is a tank down for the team of Elevate.
Yeah, but Bloop's going to go down. And with that, 4 tanks remain for the side of Teal Team 6. They're going to hold up in their spawn. Hitman's in a low position. Emus get spotted heading into the backfield of Teal Team 6's base. And it looks like Supernova's a little bit cut off. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. If there's any form of escape, yes, okay. If I'm reading, look at this right now. Look at the way Zombie Food and Emus are moving. I'm guessing, and tell me if I'm wrong, I'm guessing they're going to group up, go out the back of their base, take out the bat chat, and then try and do something. If they don't do that, I see them dying in 2 minutes.
If people have paid attention at all in the last year, one of my favorite phrases to say is, when you're surrounded, just pick up everything and go.
Yep.
And this is exactly what Teal Team 6 need to do, and they need to do it sooner rather than later because they are bleeding HP, and at this point it's pretty much already done. When you have no options and you're together, pick an angle and just go. There was 2 tanks up in the north. They could have just grouped up. They're going to bleed HP. You're going to lose tanks. Being in a crossfire is never the place you want to be, ever.
Yep.
But once you're in one, you don't have any options. You sit there, you're going to die inevitably, so you have to try to do something to try to claw in to get a win.
And there we go. Zombie Food, Hitman go down, and that's going to do it for battle number 3. Well, there is another one. That was a good example, I think, for everyone, if you watch that, of how to defend very effectively.
Yep.
Now, I'll also point this one out. I don't think Teal Team 6 brought an appropriately aggressive strategy. Their scouting was okay. Their support fire was not.
Elevate took advantage of Teal Team 6 playing what is at least the current meta on the map, which is a year and a half old.
Yeah.
Essentially, they did their homework. They managed to find the isolation. You have to be really, really careful when playing Elevate. You have to do everything calculated. So while the light tank getting up there early was good, you can't afford to have him stay there unless you know you have south control. And that's exactly what they didn't. Look at the 5A right there on the G line and the back chat down on the J line for Elevate. That is positions that Teal Team 6 arguably needed to field before they could even consider putting a light tank in there long term.
Absolutely. Now, as we get ready for them to switch sides, here's what I'm going to be watching out for. This will be the time when we watch for Elevate to show us the perfect aggression. Now, I want to actually run back to a point when you were making about Teal Team 6 on the strategy, old meta. And that old meta year-old strat is derivative of a previous version strategies of Sand River. So when Sand River didn't have the same exact outline, when it didn't have that whole northern area that you could play in, the opening scout runs and all of those moves were derivative of that old stuff.
Yep. Now, they're taking positions which give them a lot of intel. However, it's positions that Elevator know they're going to try to use. And as you saw there, they were ready for it. They were set up to counter it out. So overall, it was just a clinical play there by Elevate, really showing that they've done their homework during the offseason and they didn't go and take a nap, even though they took several weeks to tour Europe over the last Grand Finals. They came home and they got right back to work.
It is a team-building exercise, touring Europe.
I would definitely agree. And I mean, it was, it had to be a great experience for that team as a general. They went to the grand finals, they played very well, and they got to take a trip around Europe, and then they come back and they get back doing their homework, starting their scrims, and getting in here, playing in the Gold League again.
At this point, I feel like it's just that kind of a habit. You wake up, you go for a 5-mile run, you finish, you do the rest of your day, right?
Yep.
Eventually, that just becomes habit. That's what it's like for these guys.
You know what else has become habit? It's just winning for Elevate, because they're just doing it so well right now. And looking at the lineups here, 5A is still coming out in force, 4 of them for Elevate, just trying to bully all these bat chats and light tanks from top tier, along with 2 bat chats and Vetro in the 140, one of his rare tanks. Meanwhile, top tier, 2 5As, 3 bat chats, a Patton, and a 140 or an STRV 103. So not too surprising for a map like this. It will be interesting to see where they have him sit, what his perch essentially ends up being later in the game.
I see what you mean. Yeah, because if you can just slap him in the right position and keep that position relevant, you're fine. And of course if it doesn't stay relevant, what does that look like? Well, it's going to be a fight on a part of the map that he really can't support.
And this is clinical wall hacks. I've seen this before. Straight up the middle with the heavy tanks coming just straight up, getting in the face of Teal Team 6. You know how I just said they're hoping to bully? Well, this is exactly that. Shots being rifled off on the move onto the bat chats. A couple connections, but no penetrations. The heat shells from those 5As not getting the job done. They are moving in. Supernova has been caught out, getting a little bit too aggressive with that scout run, and it looks like the bat chat of Canadian Impact is going to come in here and clean him up. Down he goes, and that is not good for Teal Team 6. They are already looking at a 4-0.
Yeah, this is not good. And I'm looking at hesitation up in the hills right now from Teal Team 6. They're splitting to try and deal with this, sending Zombie Food and Viral, that's a Patton and a bat chat, down to the south, while they are going to keep Bloop, Love Hitman, Emus.
And this is clinical wall hacks, just bullying top tier in their inexperience. He is dictating the play right now. He is saying, we are going to get the cap pressure going. We are going to make you come to us. We want this fight. We know we have the 5As. Go ahead, come in here with your bat chats. Come take the brawl. And there is 10 seconds left. And here comes one reset, so that they do manage to find that. However, look at how much HP Teal Team 6 is bleeding right now.
Absolutely, that's the big factor right there. And on top of this, look at the kind of...
Oh, and here comes the bait.
Yes. Okay.
They are caught out. Love Hitman, Viral, and Zombie Food are all in a world of trouble right now. They need to leave. The tanks up north need to respawn, but I don't think they'll be able to. This is going to be tanks going down. Viral being focused out. He's down to a one-shot. Love Hitman will probably be next. Zombie Food trying to do what he can to empty his clip and stall this push out. Viral takes another shot. Wallhacks takes a heat shell to his track. Greg ends up being isolated on the other side.
But Elevate's coming out ahead on hit points right now. The damage is definitely going in favor of Elevate. They're focus firing better. They're more grouped up. On the other side, Teal Team 6 isn't getting all guns on target as quickly, and they're going to start retreating. Zombie Food's backing off, alive, but that's all he's got.
The north end of Sand River is a very difficult place to play, and Elevate just showed exactly why. This little mountain that they are fighting on right now separates guns from the north, from the south of this part of the map, and Elevate just abused it. They got Teal Team 6 to respond to both sides. Once they realized they were separated, they abused it, they grouped up. Remember what I was saying about being surrounded? When you know there's tanks on both sides, you group up and you just go, and that is exactly what Elevate just did. And this Sturm Emil, well, he's been able to get off some damage. I don't think it will be as effective as they wanted. In case you guys are wondering, the spot he's in right now is actually a boost. You have to be pushed up there by another tank. It's not a climb you can do by yourself in an STRV. We'll try to show that to you guys next time it happens. And this is going to be a clean wipe for Elevate, showing us that it is just business as usual as they make it 4-0.
Yep, one more and they will finish this one off. It's nice to see. It's nice to see Elevate win in such fashion. I mean, we always hold on a little bit for that surprise, but
everyone loves to root for underdogs. Let's not kid ourselves here. Everyone loves to root for underdogs, and this is a classic underdog story. This is Teal Team 6, the new kids on the block, the team that everyone is arguably writing off already, and Elevate just putting them in their place.
Well done. All right. So with that one, Sand River, I think we saw Elevate show us how it's done. I like the up the middle strat with the 5As. That's probably a keeper.
It's classic wall hacks.
Yeah, and it's a keeper because there aren't many other tank compositions that can get there that quickly with that many hit points and that much armor.
Yeah, well, exactly. And a 5A, very quick, heavy tank, just a little bit slower than the, a little bit faster than the 113. Yep. However, you know, looking at it, the thing is if you try to peek somewhere where you can punish those 5As when they make that cross straight up the middle, there's going to be multiple guns looking at them, whether it's the 5As themselves or the guns they had on the ridges behind them ready to just poke and punish. So there really wasn't too many options for top tier other than just letting them, top tier, Teal Team 6, just push in there. Be a little bit ahead of myself there. But overall, it was just a great play there from Elevate. Well, once again, well-calculated strat. They understood what they wanted to do. They had their game plan. They drove to cap. They said, we're sitting right here. We're here. Come and get us, Teal Team 6. And they tried to, but just a poor response from them. Just got picked off by Wallhacks. He read it perfectly, grouped up his tanks, picked the isolation, and there we go.
And look at that. You can see it in the stats. Vetro, Ox, Anime, well, we'll call him Brett. You see Anime Lord Brett. For short, Brett.
Previously, God Emperor Brett.
Yes, he's decided that he's changed his affinity.
Lord of Anime now.
Yes, and External. All of them breaking 2K. And you're going to notice those fantasy points, much less than we had in the past. Now, Wallhacks in the bat chat. He's someone who kind of spikes on points, but doesn't deal as much damage. He does a good bit of amount of spotting, got some cap points as well.
Some callers, they tend to put themselves in positions where they can go flank off by themselves. And what can happen is sometimes they put themselves in the perfect position to just sit there and do what we call farm, which is just fire your gun over and 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 over again, and just get a lot of damage. This was not one of those games, but definitely pay attention. Some of the other callers are notorious for doing it rude. We see do it time and time again, where the whole team's fighting off on one side and he's sitting, 500 meters away, just click, 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 and
just plinking away.
And then all of a sudden you see the after game results, and it's just like, 5K damage. 5K damage? Okay. All right, rude. But either way, and Wallhacks, though, is definitely someone that it has the potential to do just that. So definitely keep an eye out for him as we get ready for what could be our 5th and final battle of the first series of the night.
And that, looking at the lineups, is going to be 2 5As again. Going to have 2 bat chats, TVP, 13 105s, 2 of them. And, Rocks. Rocks, was that a DC, or is that someone forgetting to ready up?
We'll have to find out.
We will, because that's rare. Very rarely does that actually happen.
And it would make sense, though, because this is Teal Team 6's first day in the Gold League, so admin's not giving them any slack at all, hitting ready as soon as it was ready. And as we go here into the first battle, from the looks of it, they're moving, so this seems to be live. And we get 2 13-105s coming out for Elevate. That is also another interesting pick. It's the light tank that we see the least of.
Hitman looks a little distracted there. Drives up and over a rock. Teal Team 6 probably not okay with the fact that they actually.
Well, maybe they thought this was the problem. They're Teal Team 6. They're used to playing with 6 people, so maybe that's the key to beating Elevate for them.
That would make a lot of sense. And it looks like Hitman's gonna, instead of heading toward, actually, I'm gonna wait. I'm just gonna see what he does. I'm gonna see what you do. He's going to head toward the hill. At the same time, Elevate, having taken the hill, will have the high ground. Mouse moving on the bottom, and you can see Goat playing the mountain goat position. I mean, right?
He's getting up there all right.
Oh, yeah. This is something a lot of people didn't know about when they changed the southern boost, how you could actually get into the high ground. It's trickier now.
The boosts on this side of the map were essentially changed, so you can still do them, but they're a lot more... there's a lot more vulnerability while you do the climbs.
And they're a little more difficult, I'd say.
Yeah. So difficulty increased a little bit, and the angles that they can fire from also changed. So definitely something to keep an eye on.
Here you can see Goat peeking up, looking for Brett. Waiting for Brett.
Looking. He's staying obedient. He's making sure that he doesn't peek up while he's still spotted, or while Brett's looking for him, maybe trying to get him to lose a little bit of his focus, attention, so he can sneak another shot in there and not trade. Yep. And it looks like they now have a DC call.
It might have been a late. It might. Oh, it looks like a
forfeit.
Forfeit or something. Elevate wins.
Loss of round, illegal lineup.
We'll have to check that out. All right. Well, that's going to do it.
Well, that was lackluster, but it happens. Teal Team 6 being welcome to the Gold League. That's one way to do it. Elevate, for the first 4 rounds there, just putting their foot down on the throat and not letting up once. So there's every chance that they smelled blood. They went for it. They went for the kill, and they put them down in their place.
Ouch. All right. Well, that's going to do it. And with that one, that was anything but decisive.
Yeah, I mean, overall, the Himmelsdorf early on, that was just clinical. Now, Sand River, I had a little bit of hope for Teal Team 6 since it was the new map for the season. But overall, they just weren't really able to claw in there. I mean, you need to go back to the drawing board a little bit and draw out their strats. We do have the fantasy points, it looks like. So let's go ahead and look at post-match. Vetro coming in here top with 245. Now, one thing to remember is, like I said, the formula has changed. So these numbers don't seem as high as they used to be on the fantasy end. Wait until the night is over and you see all the points totaled up, and you can start getting a feel for how the new points are. Looking at it, Zombie Food, or Supernova, top performer for Teal Team 6, 165. So definitely something, Nova maybe a player for Fantasy in the future, just when they're not playing Elevate. Dodoma down there on the bottom with wall hacks, no surprise there. So that about wraps that up for that one. You have any other post-match thoughts there?
I feel like there's not a whole lot other than to say congratulations, Elevate. Looks like you're still